hook up the harness for the back of the radio to tie it into the truck. So the radio comes with this harness, and this fits a plug right on the back of the radio. And you can see it has, and there's I'll show you a wiring diagram, but it comes with a wiring diagram for the radio. But you've got a ground, you've got ground is black, you've got a yellow, which is battery power, you've got a red, which is accessory power. I guess this is when the truck's on, this is when you're in accessory position. Then you've got a system remote control of blue, and then you've got the speakers, front, back, and left and right. So you've got a purple, and they're purple black, a gray black, a white black, and a green black. So you got the 4 speakers, accessory power, ground, and their remote control, which the truck doesn't have. So this is what features the radio provides. And this plug right here goes right into the back of the radio. So now what you need is a way to adapt that to the truck wiring harness. So of course back in the day we just extend a piece of wire and put a crimp-on connector on and cut the wires under the dash, and that was always a mess. Nowadays, they've kind of got this figured out. It's much nicer. So what you really like is a harness or a plug that goes right into the harness on the back of that's inside the dash of the truck. So for that to work, so here's the head unit out of the truck, and there's the plug right there for the back of the head unit, which means of course there's and I'll show you a picture of this outside, there's a mating cable with that plug underneath the dash. So when you pulled the radio out, there was that wire harness with the plug sitting right there looking at you. So ideally what I want is some way to take this and replace this connector with a connector that looks like what was on the back of this radio to go right into the existing wiring harness. Now, fortunately, nowadays they've got that figured out. So what you do is you can either go online and buy just another little harness that looks just like this, that'll go right into your vehicle's wiring harness, whether you got a Ford or a Chevy or whatever. What I did, since I happened to be at Walmart buying the radio, I looked around and Walmart sells you some octopus looking thing that looks just like this. The one I ended up getting, and it ain't gonna look this bad when I'm done, is the packaging looks just like this. It looks like it is a FDK 106 Ford 1989 to 11. Fits Ford, Lincolns, Mazda, Mercury's, Nissans, a bunch of them, because it's got a whole octopus of connectors in here. And my truck is a Ford F-250 2001, and if you look on the back, there's a list of vehicles that it supports, and one of them is a Ford F-Series pickups Super Duty from 99 to 03. So mine's an 01, so it should fit. And it turns out that indeed this plug right here, if you look at it, it is the correct one, and it'll plug right onto the existing wiring harness underneath the truck. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these others off that I don't want. I mean, you don't have to. They all come out. So you could just take these existing wires, match them up with these existing wires, and I actually did that so I could test this to make sure it works before I cut it up. And, sure enough, there's a red one, just like the red here. There's a yellow, just like the yellow there. There's black for ground. And nicely, all the speakers are color-coded the same way. You got white, black, gray, black, purple, black, green, black. And you got a few extra wires that the truck provides that this stereo doesn't support. And when we get all these cut off, I'll show you them. But in particular, there's a subwoofer ground that's a black-white that's not supported on the stereo. And then you've got this orange and orange-white, which are the illumination and illumination ground. So when I get to that, I'll talk to you about some of the things I don't like about the radio. I'm pretty happy with the radio. It's a Pioneer DEH X66BT, which is identical to the DEH X6600 BT. So it's got some nice features, but it's also got some things I don't really love about it. But the price was right, and had it in stock, and it went in pretty easy. But for right now, we're going to talk about the wiring harness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to nip this off short because I'm not gonna leave this whole nasty octopus underneath the truck. I'm gonna nip this off short, trim all these back, solder them together, heat shrink them, and make a cable that's, you know, worth having under the truck.